Granolah. Granolah is the sole survivor of the Cerealian that was annihilated by the Saiyan Army and a bounty hunter employed by the Heeters. Motivated by his desire for revenge, he seeks to gain more power in order to kill the tyrant Freeza and avenge his race. Many decades ago, Granolah lived on cereal with his people, the Cerealians. One day, the Cerealian homeworld was attacked and conquered by the Freeza force and its Saiyan Army. Using the full moon, the Saiyans transformed into great apes and annihilated nearly all of the population and their cities. The young and frightened Granolah ran inside of an abandoned building to hide, only to be discovered by a great ape with a scar on its face. Somehow, Granolah managed to survive the genocide of his race, but the experience left him haunted with nightmares that lasted into adulthood. This instilled Granolah with an obsessive desire for revenge against Freeza and the Saiyans, to such an extent that he deliberately chose a house in the mountains where he could view the remains of his hometown as a reminder of his past. At some point in his life, he met the Namekian Monaito, and they began to live together. He also made an acquaintance with an individual named Oatmeal, and started an occupation as a bounty hunter working under the Heeters, taking jobs in order to make a living. Personality. Granolah is a stern, serious individual, coming off as uninviting and cold but also withholding a great ambition. Granolah holds a deep love for his people, and is constantly haunted in his dreams by the memory of the Freeza force arriving and the Saiyans transforming into great apes while destroying his city, leading to an obsession with avenging his fall brethren and a seething hatred for Freeza and the invading Saiyans who eradicated his fellow Cerealians. Part of the reason Granolah and Monaito reside in a mountaintop home is because it gives him a clear view of his hometown's remains, and serves as a constant reminder to himself of what the Saiyans and the Freeza force did to his planet. Granolah's determination was halted by both Monaito's words and the news of planet Vegeta's destruction and Freeza's death, nearly leading to Granolah giving up his quest for vengeance, until news of Freeza's resurrection reached him, renewing his determination to train hard and take Freeza down. This desire for revenge is strong enough to overrule his sense of reason, as he becomes impatient with Elec about Freeza's whereabouts and only calms down after being overpowered and detained by gas, and again when he is willing to pilfer the 2-star cereal Dragon Ball to have his wish for power granted instead of training. Despite these obsessive traits, Granolah is not without heart. Even though he goes against Monaito's warning about seeking revenge, Granolah still goes out of his way to care for and generally listen to the Namekian. Appearance. Granolah has light skin, wavy green hair, one dark green eye and one red eye, and wears what appears to be a buckled leather eye patch with a dial over his right eye. The rest of his attire consists of a dark yellowish green shirt under a green coat with yellow buttons, a long gray scarf, a dual buckled belt, and dark yellowish green gloves and boots, with buckled belts around both. Concept and creation. Granolah was designed by Toyotara, with help and approval from original author Akira Toriyama. Granolah's name comes from granola, a type of breakfast food. Biography. Many decades ago, Granolah lived on cereal with his people, the Cerealians, and a tribe of Namekians. One day, the Cerealian homeworld was attacked and conquered by the Freeza force and its Saiyan Army. Using the full moon, the Saiyans transformed into great apes and annihilated nearly all of the population and their cities. With the help of his people, a young and frightened Granolah ran inside of an abandoned building to hide with his mother Muesli, only to be discovered by a great ape with a scar on its face. The sight of the great ape caused a frightened Granolah to faint. Desperate, the Cerealians destroyed their moon, causing the great apes to revert back to normal. Although, even without the full moon, the Saiyans were more than powerful enough to wipe out the Cerealians. Bardock, having reverted as well, approached Granolah and his mother inside the building. Muesli, frightened, shoots one of Bardock's shoulder guards off as a warning. Suddenly, Leek calls out to Bardock from outside. Leek says they've completed their mission and must leave. Bardock tells Leek to go without him as he'll look for survivors, not informing about Granolah and Muesli. Leek complies, but tells him to hurry as Freeza will arrive shortly. Using his scouter, Bardock determines that these are the last 2 Cerealians and detects another survivor in the mountains. Bardock takes the two to the survivor's location. The only remaining Namekian, Monaito, senses Bardock and attempts to attack him, only to be easily thwarted by the Saiyan. Monaito calms down when he sees 2 Cerealians with him. Muesli asks Monaito for shelter, which he happily accepts. Bardock tells them to stay hidden and lie low, as Freeza is on his way to cereal. Monaito suspects a ploy, but Bardock says he saved them because he felt like it. Bardock tells them to survive for as long as they can and leaves. Before he goes, Monaito asks for his name and treats his arm. Suddenly, Bardock detects someone with his scouter and discovers the Heeters in the distance. Bardock, Monaito, and Muesli listen to the Heeters discussing their plan to scam the Sugarians and usurp Freeza one day. Suddenly, Granolah wakes up and screams when he sees Bardock, alerting the Heeters. Monaito quickly uses a ki to knock Granolah out. Bardock takes Monato's cloak to hide his face and takes aim at them, pretending he found some survivors to kill. Elec tells him to get on with it, but Bardock says the Namekian has a strange power worth checking into. Elec quickly draws his ray gun and shoots Muesli in the chest, killing her. He orders Bardock to kill the kid and the Namekian. Bardock attacks the Heeters with an invisible blast, but gas blocks it with a force field. Using the smoke as distraction, Bardock makes a quick getaway with the others. Monaito laments that his power can't save Muesli. Bardock says the Heeters will come looking for them to prevent their secret from getting out. Elec sends Gas to find and kill them. However, Bardock somehow managed to defeat or evade Gas long enough to escape. Without his mother, Granolah would be raised by Monaito. Not wanting to burden Granolah by revealing that he inadvertently caused his own mother's death, Monaito lied to the Cerealian and never told him that Bardock saved their lives or their encounter with the Heeters. The young Cerealian survived the genocide of his race, but the experience left him haunted with nightmares that lasted into adulthood. This instilled Granolah with an obsessive desire for revenge against Freeza and the Saiyans, to such an extent that he deliberately chose a house in the mountains where he could view the remains of his hometown as a reminder of his past. At some point in his life, Granolah made an acquaintance with an individual named Oatmeal and started an occupation as a bounty hunter before he was approached by Elec and Gas, who hired him. He began working under the Heeters, taking jobs in order to make a living. Ironically, the Freeza force made a deal with the Heeters to ravage Cereal, so the Heeters could rebuild the planet and sell it to the highest bidder, a fact that Granolah remains ignorant to. Power. Manga. Granolah is a superb sniper and bounty hunter, due to his right eye's prowess, which was noted by Oatmeal to be superior to that of other Cerealians and the extensive work he put into refining his skills over the years. This allowed him to take down Goichi's guards with his stun gun and his OG soldiers, all possessing copies of 7-3's data, capabilities and newfound power, with pinpoint finger beams, as well as easily taking down Soshiru, a fellow bounty hunter, and his crew with his sniping capabilities. However, he was no match to Gas, who managed to subdue him instantly, before Granolah could even realize what happened. Elec also believed that the likes of Oil would be able to defeat Granolah. Likewise, he is told by Elec that he would easily be killed by the present-day Freeza, though Elec later notes that Granolah's potential could lead to him becoming a dangerous factor in their plans, even potentially surpassing Gas. Monaito also believed Granolah did not have the power to tangle with Freeza, as he was before his revival. After making a wish to Taranbo, Granolah gained power surpassing every other mortal in the universe as of the time the wish was made. With this power he was able to easily defeat Oil and Maki with little effort. However, Elec believed that based on 7-3's data of their fight with Moro, Goku and Vegeta working together would be able to defeat Granolah. This was proven to have merit, as he was stated by Vegeta to be almost at his limit after facing them both separately. When confronting Goku and Vegeta, even with his power split in two, Granolah's newfound prowess proved more than enough to massively pressure both Saiyan warriors using a clone. His speed and sniping skills allowed him to force Super Saiyan Vegeta and Base Goku utilizing Autonomous Ultra Instinct on the defensive and unable to track his location, as well as instantly knocking out Base Goku with a sniper shot to a vital point. Against Super Saiyan God Goku, Granolah's speed was enough to force Goku to utilize Autonomous Ultra Instinct, and despite being caught off guard by Goku's increased reflexes and evasive maneuvers, he was capable of injuring Goku and forcing him back to his base state with a vital point attack. Upon powering up, Granolah became capable of fighting evenly with Super Saiyan Blue Goku and slowly gain the upper hand, forcing the Saiyan to use Autonomous Ultra Instinct in conjunction with the form's perfected state, which initially catches him off guard, but he eventually manages to knock him out of the form with another vital point attack, though he did sustain damage from Goku's instant Kamehameha. However, his right eye could not find any vital points while Goku used perfected Ultra Instinct and was swiftly overpowered. After deactivating his clone and regaining his true power, Granolah was able to put Goku near death's door with a single vital point attack to the chest, but he was only able to do so as easily as he did due to waiting for an opening in Goku's defenses to appear due to his Ultra Instinct's consistency dropping. Against Super Saiyan God SS evolved Vegeta, Granolah had a clear advantage in sheer power. However, due to Vegeta's prior knowledge of Granolah's abilities against Goku, plus his superior battle experience, the prince was able to hold his own against Granolah. At the same time, Vegeta noted that Granolah's lack of training with his newfound power inhibited his full efficiency in battle. This allowed Vegeta to gradually adjust and improve against Granolah via Saiyan power. Ultimately, however, once Granolah got serious, he overwhelmed Vegeta with a single strike, forcing him back to base form. This prompted Vegeta to use his newest form, Ultra Ego. Granolah was subsequently outmatched by Vegeta's sheer might and tenacity, forcing Granolah to respond in kind by evolving his left eye alongside his right, allowing him to pierce Vegeta's Beerus ball with a two-handed sniping energy wave of his own and turn the tables back in his favor. During his second fight against Vegeta, however, the Saiyan Prince's relentlessness pushed Granolah to exhaust himself and ultimately resort to a suicide attack to ensure he could put him down. After LX's wish to make Gas stronger, a weakened Granolah was capable of enduring several of his attacks, though Gas was still able to easily defeat Granolah. Upon eating a senzu bean given by Vegeta and recovering his strength, Granolah proved able to compete against Gas, forcing his foe to fight seriously and reluctantly rely on the extra techniques that he gained from the wish. Despite Gas being somewhat stronger and faster than Granolah, Vegeta noted Granolah uses all the powers acquired from the Dragon Balls more efficiently than Gas does, due to him being more accustomed to them at this stage, letting Granolah bridge the gap with superior skill and experience. However, as the Heater begins to dabble further with his new skills, Granolah slowly loses the edge, and the fight reaches a stalemate, with the Cerealian having to resort to a sacrificial gambit in an attempt to put Gas down. However, once Gas had transformed, he proceeded to violently pummel Granolah across the battlefield with ease. During the climax against the battle against Gas, a partially healed Granolah returned to the battlefield and, with aid from the Saiyans providing distraction, managed to severely injure and knock out the empowered Heater with a single, heavily charged ki blast. Statements by authors and guidebooks. During their battle during the Granolah the Survivor Saga, Toyotaro refers to Granolah, Vegeta and Goku as the first, second and third strongest in the universe, though does not elaborate on the order aside from Granolah being first. Granolah did not draw out the full power granted to him by the wish until he unlocked his second evolved eye, which finally made him the true strongest in the universe. Prior to his wish to Taranbo, Granolah's strength surpassed the likes of Nappa and probably the Ginyu Force. His strength was about on par with Abio and Kato from Dragon Ball, the return of Son Goku and friends. Abilities. Techniques. Evolved right eye. As a Cerealian, Granolah possesses a special right eye which gives him enhanced sight and perception and thus advanced skills as a sniper. Granolah's skill with this was noted as being a cut above all others of his kind. After wishing to become the strongest warrior in the universe, Granolah's perception grew even stronger. Granolah is capable of using his eye to observe the blood flow, muscle movements, and even the movements of his enemy's cells, allowing him to determine his enemy's weak points and strike them effectively. He's also capable of detecting when an opponent is holding back their power, as shown during his fight with Goku. However, with one eye, it is unable to notice vital points of peak efficiency perfected Ultra Instinct users. Granolah briefly lost this ability due to Gas destroying both of his eyes. Even after being healed by Monaito, his enhanced eyesight remained compromised, meaning he required Oatmeal's assistance to aim. Vital point attack. Using the enhanced vision of his right eye, Granolah is able to hit his opponents in their vital points with pinpoint accuracy. Evolved left eye. Due to his pure progress and being pushed to his limit, Granolah awakened this power in his left eye, causing the accuracy and power of his attacks to greatly increase. Ki blast. Most basic form of energy wave. Granolah tends to use this by holding out his index and middle fingers, while keeping his thumb up, rather than his open hand, simulating the appearance of firing a gun. Finger beam. Granolah holds out his index and middle finger and releases an energy beam from his fingertips. Finger blitz barrage. Granolah rapid fires a volley of ki blasts from his fingertip. He is shown to possess perfect accuracy with this technique. During his fight against Ultra Ego Vegeta, Granolah's skill evolved the point where he can use these rapid-fire volleys from both hands simultaneously while retaining their accuracy. Alteration type ki manipulation technique. Granolah takes up a position akin to that of drawing out an arrow from its bow, generating a line of ki between the fingertips of his extended arms. He then releases the line, firing a large ki blast from his extended arm. Self-sacrificing attack. Granolah unites both hands in a gun-like gesture and charges a massive ball of energy from his extended fingertips. Granolah attempted to use it twice to kill Vegeta and Elec on separate occasions, but failed both times. This is seemingly Granolah's most powerful offensive move, as he used it to take down the transformed and much stronger Gas in a single hit. It can also be used as a suicide move by pouring all his ki into a single blast. Scatter finger beam. Granolah fires energy beams from all of his fingertips. Charged finger beam. Granolah charges up a great deal of power into his finger beam attack, in a similar vein to the special beam cannon, and then unleashes it upon his foe. Full power energy wave. Granolah fires a powerful wave of energy. Flight. After wishing to become the strongest warrior, Granolah gained the ability to fly using ki. Telekinesis, a technique that allows the user to manipulate objects and other people with the power of one's mind. After wishing to become the strongest warrior in the universe, Granolah levitates a boulder into the air before destroying it. Thanks to his pure progress, Granola's control and might increases over the course of his fight against Ultra Ego Vegeta. He combines this with Hakai to create an omnidirectional explosion on the Saiyan Prince. Psychic Rock Throw. Granolah is capable of tossing large buildings via telekinesis. Hakai. After wishing to become the strongest warrior in the universe, Granolah gains the ability to reduce things to dust, as he did to a rock thrown at him, or create explosions. The technique bears a heavy resemblance to Hakai, something that Vegeta noted when they first encountered him. Maki compares it to magic. Ki sense, the ability to sense the energy of other beings. Granolah gained this ability after wishing to become the strongest warrior in the universe and was able to sense that Frieza's presence was not on any nearby planets. Spirit control. After wishing to become the strongest warrior in the universe, Granolah gained spirit control at least on a level able to utilize instant transmission. Instant transmission. After wishing to become the strongest warrior in the universe, Granolah gains the ability to teleport. This ability is noted by Goku to be similar to instant transmission, only faster. Cloning. After wishing to become the greatest warrior in the universe, Granolah gains the ability to make clones of himself, splitting his power between them, as it is revealed after his fight with Goku that the latter fought his clone the whole time. Granolah can create multiple clones simultaneously, but doing so splits his power among them, and any damage they take is returned to him when the clones are dissipated. Magic. Upon becoming the strongest in the universe, Granolah gained the ability to perform feats of magic. Life energy manipulation. After wishing to become the greatest warrior in the universe, Granolah gained the magic ability to manipulate life energy. Fire and flames. Granolah is able to manipulate the life energy of the planet he is on for offensive and defense usage. Such usage appears as a flaming pillar. He is capable of doing this until the planet he is utilizing runs out of energy. Energy shield. Granolah creates a barrier of energy around himself for protection. Pure progress. As Granolah gains battle experience from fighting powerful foes and being pushed to his limits, his moves become sharper and his strength grows, akin to how a Saiyan's battle prowess grows from fighting. Dragon Ball enhanced. By wishing to Taranbo to become a warrior with power surpassing all other mortal life forms in the universe, all of the power Granolah could have possibly accumulated over his lifetime was condensed into him, and he learned all of the abilities he could have in that time, turning him into the greatest warrior in Universe 7 at the cost of most of his lifespan. Taking on this Dragon Ball enhanced state, Granolah's hair grew greatly in length, however he cut it not long after, returning to his prior appearance. However, due to his inexperience, Granolah cannot initially draw out the full power gained from this. Full power. Pushed to his limit and in a life or death situation, Granolah finally succeeds in drawing out the greatest power in the universe, unlocking the power to transform his left eye into an evolved red eye, improving his abilities even further than before. This state is not a permanent change however, and Granolah will drop out of it eventually, though it can be taken on at will once attained. This state is Granolah's full power, and with it he truly becomes the strongest in the universe, surpassing Ultra Ego Vegeta who had gained the advantage over Granolah's base form and is able to match gas base form after the latter is wished to be the strongest. As Granolah's eyes were destroyed by gas, he lost the accuracy given by this form, as his vision remained blurry even after being healed by Monaito. Equipment. Oatmeal's eyepiece. A goggle-like eyepiece which Granolah can communicate to Oatmeal through. Aim assist. Oatmeal is able to enhance Granolah's already incredible aim. Stun gun. Granolah possesses a non-lethal gun which fires a blast which stuns those hit by it. Scarf. Granolah wears a white scarf which he can use as a weapon in battle, though it was later torn apart by a ki blast during his second fight with Goku. Scarf throw. Granolah uses his scarf to either tie up his opponent and throw them around or as a means of extra mobility. Senza bean. Mystical beans with immense rejuvenation properties. Granolah was given one by Vegeta. Dragon Radar. A tracking device that makes finding the Dragon Balls more efficient, compared to conventional methods. Vegeta gives Granolah the radar Maki had stolen in order to help him find them faster. If you want to support me, check out my Patreon at https://www.patreon.com/Kaioshin. I tend to polls that decide important plot stuff in my P at Trian. Many thanks to my awesome patrons. Ben Phillips.
If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.